Welcome back to Twin Tarot. I'm Gary, and this is not David. So I haven't really recorded a whole much this week, and next couple days I'm going to be helping my son move back home from school. He's down in San Luis Obispo, and he's going to go to San Jose State. So we'll have him home for a little bit, and then he and a couple buddies are looking at renting a place down in San Jose, so they don't have to commute to school every day. So I'm going to be busy Friday and Saturday driving back and forth to San Luis Obispo. It's about 200 miles each way. Yay me. so, some interesting news coming out where the U.S. and Iran have an MOU, a memorandum of understanding that they have yet to sign but are allegedly going to sign. And Trump, it got released to the press, and then Trump got his feelings all hurt and got all bent out of shape, saying that because it was leaked to the press before he could make the announcement that he might not sign it, and he may end up bombing Iran. I mean, if they don't play ball or don't behave, I think was the quote was, if they don't behave, I'll start bombing them again. And I just read a quick article. He's at the G7 meeting, and he's touting what a great agreement this is, this MOU. But he's also telling the G7 that it's not permanent. Basically gives them 60 days to hash out a final agreement. They could extend it if both sides want to, but basically what it does is it opens up the Strait of Hormuz essentially for 30 to 60 days. They have to clear the mines out that Iran has been laying, and then it'll get the tankers out of there. And one of the interesting things about this agreement is it creates a toll-free passage through the Strait of Hormuz for 60 days. Which implies that after 60 days, if Iran wants to implement a toll on tankers that are sailing through the strait, that they feel that they can do that. And that's one of the biggest failings of Trump's policy of bombing Iran, is that it basically has legitimized Iran as having control of the Strait of Hormuz. And in theory, they could totally charge a toll on shipping traffic through the strait. Trump claims that it's not going to happen because if they start doing that, I'm going to bomb them. Yeah, okay, maybe. Maybe not. Um, Trump is really, and then Trump has threatened that he would, like I said earlier, that if Iran doesn't behave, he'll start bombing them again. The other takeaway was it started highlighting some tension and difference of philosophy between Netanyahu and Trump, because part of the agreement was that all the wars in the Middle East will stop, including in Beirut. And Netanyahu's not quite done bombing the hell out of the folks in Lebanon. um, and that's kind of throwing us a monkey wrench in the works for Trump. And Trump has said that he and Netanyahu have a dispute over the legitimacy of the threat of Hezbollah, which is interesting. So I'm going to throw some cards and just take a look just at the general energy of it. We did Taco Tuesday with Marina yesterday, and just my opinion is the agreement that they came to. The U.S. came out weaker from this. I that's the only way I could put it. The U.S.'s position is weaker as a result of these bombings in Iran. Full stop. I don't think you can spin it any other way. what has it done? It's basically said that Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz and they can do whatever the hell they want. Um, Trump had, he was all over Obama's shit for releasing a couple $1 billion of the frozen Iranian assets to back to Iran. Trump agreed to put like the remainder, like $20 billion, and all he got back for it was a promise that they wouldn't build a nuclear weapon, and a discussion as to what's the enriched uranium that they've actually created, that it's going to go somewhere other than Iran. They haven't even agreed on that as to where it's going to go, who's going to hold on to it. I mean, and he's lifted, and Iran has said all the sanctions against them will be lifted. So the U.S. has gotten nothing out of this. They've reopened the Strait of Hormuz, which was open before the bombing. They haven't come to a hard agreement on what they're doing with the enriched uranium. And Iran says that, okay, yeah, we won't build a nuclear weapon. Well, they already said they weren't building one. So what did we get out of this? Nothing. I mean, we got nothing. The art of the deal was clearly written by a ghostwriter, because the ghostwriter should have been in the negotiations, because Trump clearly does not know how to negotiate. Not on the big stage. Iran came out of this in a lot better shape than the U.S. came out of it. And I just want to, and so Trump he's kind of playing both sides. He's saying how great a agreement this is, but he's also saying it's not permanent, it's only for 60 days, and I can change my mind. So what is it? Is it a great deal that we couldn't possibly do better? Or is it just a stall tactic to get some oil out of the Strait of Hormuz, so that you can go ahead and threaten Iran again? And maybe it's both. I don't know. Let's see what the cards say. So, entertainment purposes only. I hope you're all doing great. What is the energy around this agreement? I'm going to do Iran on this side, and I'm going to do Trump and the United States on this side. We're not even talking about the Gulf states and Europe, because the EU and Japan were really hit hard by the lack of oil coming through, and the fuel reserves were starting to run out. And I think that's kind of what forced Trump's hand, is because the shit was going to get real. It was really going to land. And the linkage is the Four of Pentacles. Trump trying to keep all the resources and keep everything to himself, being Trump's selfish outlook on life. So for Iran, you got the Four of Wands, celebrating the actions that have occurred. Queen of Cups, this is about keeping your emotions under control. Obviously not being happy about what's happening, but Iran seems to have come out okay. Playing the long game, not inflaming Trump with more rhetoric during these negotiations. King of Wands, taking bold and decisive actions. And then the Seven of Cups. Dave calls this as kind of like the integrity and ethics and integrity card. Iran might be saying one thing and believing another. Trump may believe they've said one thing, but Iran believes that they've said another. This could also be that Iran is being deceptive with what they're agreeing to. But it's, the linkage here between the United States and Iran is Trump's greed. So to me, it's Iran's pretty happy with this. They kept their cool. They took decisive actions, and they're pulling some illusions here. Trump in the United States here. What's on Team Trump? Ace of Cups. Showing emotions, that new emotions or upwelling of emotions. Once again, Trump is confused on how he should feel about this. He's trying to sell this like this is the best deal ever, way better than what Obama could do. I'd say this objectively is worse than Obama's deal, because frankly, if all you're going to do is give them back all their money and raise the sanctions, I'm pretty sure they would have said, you know what? Yeah, we'll give you the enriched uranium for that. And then the Strait of Hormuz would still be in play, if you will. It wouldn't have solidified Iran's control over it. So, you know, Trump he's got mixed emotions about this. I don't think he's really happy with what the agreement is. He was kind of forced into it because we were running out of gasoline reserves. And he was being put under pressure to resolve this, and he wasn't negotiating from a position of strength. Energy underneath that, the main clarifier is the Seven of Pentacles. This is, you reap what you sow. What this could be is a minor victory now, and Trump's looking at over the next 60 days, since this is a Seven of Pentacles, maybe each of these pentacles is a a set of 10 days. So you got 6 days, 6 pentacles in the bush, 10 days for each pentacle. I think what this is he needs to kind of reassess what this MOU agreement is actually saying, because I think he's going to come under a lot of criticism for this, on both sides. He's going to have to manifest some sort of result, but right now he's stuck with this agreement, the baseline of this agreement. He needs to come up with a different solution. I don't think he can spin it, and it's all about selfish behavior. He cut this deal because this war going on and on was making him look bad, and was weakening his position, especially in the Republicans in Congress, especially with midterm elections coming up in just 4 months here, 4.5 months. We're in a midterm election period, and gas prices have gone up. Fuel reserves were almost depleted. I've got a cat behind me. Hey, Punk. How's it going? There's Punky. Whoop. They're so funny. They never come in here, so I left the door open, and it's just like, oh, now we get to explore the new area. So Trump's in a bad position, and he needs to try and manifest some sort of solution that makes him look better. The other thing that's interesting is Iran secured $300 million in guaranteed funding to rebuild. And I'm not sure if that's a loan or not, or if that's a payment to Iran. I'm not sure what that is. I guess I'll have to do a little more research on that. It's interesting. Let's just see how is this going to progress over the next 60 days. What do we need to know about the negotiations, the transition from an MOU to a potential agreement over the next 60 days? What do we see happening with that? Oh, you got the star card underneath. Page of Pentacles. So the Page of Pentacles is about sort of reassessing your values, showing what you really believe in. It's kind of like the Ace of Pentacles in its own way, where you got a new opportunity. But to me, the Page of Pentacles is like kind of showing what you believe in, showing what you actually value. The challenge is the Magician. How do you make that happen? If it's Trump, it's like, oh, well, they can't have nuclear weapons. The challenge is, how are you going to make it? How are you going to prove that they're not building them? Because they said previously they weren't building them, but Netanyahu said, oh, of course they're 60 days away from having a nuclear weapon, and Trump was finally stupid enough to believe him. I guess I should look at Netanyahu too, right? Energy underneath is the star. Over the next 60 days, this is going to test Trump's, not only his manifestation powers, but his star power. His star might be declining at this point. His whole presidency is going to rest on what happens here. In the past, you had the Four of Wands, basically Iran celebrating the actions that happened, coming out stronger. Current energy is strength. Being able to, so the challenge here is, who's got the stronger hand? overarching energy is the Six of Wands, claiming the victory. Trump's already said, his star power is based on the fact that he says this is a great deal and a great victory. But we'll see who's got the stronger hand here over the next 60 days. Lesson to be learned: heartbreak, betrayal. That's an interesting card. Um, oh boy, that tells me that this MOU is probably currently this MOU is destined not to become an agreement. Or if it is an agreement, that explains that Seven of Cups, that on the Iranian side, not believing the unethical, or don't believe what's put in front of you. It's all illusions. Heartbreak, betrayal is the lesson to be learned here. And the outcome is the King of Cups, which is the Trump emotion card. I think what I'm getting at here is Iran's claiming victory. Trump's got to show that he's stronger so he can claim victory, and that he is going to feel betrayed, or he's going to betray this agreement. I would not be surprised, to protect his star power, if he doesn't start bombing again. That's kind of what I get from this. Like I said, his whole presidency is hinging on this. He has started a war in the Middle East. He has turned his back on the needs of his supporters. He doesn't care about the midterm elections. If he falls short, if he fails on this, it's done. He's done. So we'll see what happens with that. I want to take one last look at Trump's relationship with Netanyahu, because it seems like it's starting to fracture, and I just want to see, over Netanyahu's and Israel's actions against Hezbollah. What do we need to know about Trump's relationship with Netanyahu over the next, several weeks here, especially while this MOU is being hashed out? You got the Emperor. I'm large and in charge. You need to do what I tell you. I get a feeling Trump's going to start getting a little mouthy and bossy with Netanyahu. Queen of Swords. Providing truth. This is what's happening. This is what I need to happen. I should probably do Trump on this side here. The Chariot. This could be the card of war, the card of victory, or just the negotiations moving forward. And then the Ace of Wands. Basically, a new action being taken. To me, this is Trump telling Netanyahu, fall into line, do as I'm telling you. This is what needs to happen. This is what's happening, and this is what needs to happen. I need these negotiations to move forward so I can claim victory. And if you don't, I may have to take some actions. I may have to take some new actions. Netanyahu, Ten of Swords, wanting to put an end to me, this is kind of putting an end to the terrorism. But I wonder if it's the end of the friendship, the bromance between the two of them. All the actions taken, defending yourself. We're tired of being under threat all the time. Page of Pentacles, showing what I truly value. Ace of Cups, that upwelling of emotion. I'm starting to see some of the same cards. So God, this is almost like carrot and stick, and maybe that's what I'm reading instead of Netanyahu. It's like Trump telling him, I'm the boss. You need to do what I'm telling you, because I'm giving you the facts here, and I want this victory. And I want to take I'm going to start taking actions if you don't fall into line. If you don't play ball, the stick is, I'm going to put an end to this friendship. You're going to be on your own defending this. So you need to show what you actually believe in, and don't come crying to me when the U.S. isn't supporting you. And there's a lot of work that needs to happen between now and then. I get this. I'm feeling this is more, like I said, carrot and stick between Trump and Netanyahu. Trump's kind of getting done with him, and he wants to put an end to the shenanigans that Netanyahu's doing, and the claims of defending Israel, and maybe that's also what the Ten of Swords and the Nine of Wands is. You know, you keep telling me you need to defend Israel, you need to get rid of Hezbollah to have security, but if we're not there to help defend you, that could be the end of Israel, and you're going to be on your own, the end of our relationship, and this could be you on your own taking actions. And then, you're going to have to sell this to your people who might be very upset with that. It could go a whole lot of different ways. Anyways, that's what I've got. Thank you so much for watching. I totally appreciate you. Like I said, this channel's probably going to be dark for a couple more days because I'm going to be driving back and forth to San Luis Obispo. Yay me. I do want to give a couple of thank yous to some folks that had donated to the channel. I was going through my photos and I thought, oh, I don't think I said thank you to this. So Echoes and Ladyfish, also known as Patricia. Hi, Patricia. So for Echoes, thank you so much for your donation. Oh, the death card. Hopefully, I didn't take too long, and you're no longer willing to reward the channel for good readings. Oh well, sorry about that, Echo S. And then Patricia King. Oh dear, the Ten of Swords. Oh, that'll teach me for taking so long to get back to you. Anyways, I hope you're all doing great. And for the rest of us, we got the Sun card. Let's let the truth come out and see what's really happening here. We'll see what happens next. Like I said, I don't want to put any more negative juju out there. There's plenty of that out there. There's nothing you and I can do about this MOU and the negotiations with Iran. So let's not worry as much about it. I mean, we can go out and protest. We can go out and vote. But they're not pulling us into the negotiations. So do the best you can. Try and be supportive to the people around you. Put good karma in the air. And hopefully we'll get through this together. And that this dark period that we're going through will end soon. Anyways, I hope you're all doing great. And we'll catch you soon. Take care.